In this video, we're going to look at how people search and put it in context of your advertising efforts so that as you make decisions about how you're reaching users, you can make sure that it's the correct decision based upon how people search.
People do not use search engines to browse the web. People use search engines to find answers to their questions. Throughout this lesson, I'll describe how search advertising steps away from gimmicky advertising and instead helps users answer their questions. Use the psychology of search to your advantage by helping users find answers, especially when that answer results in an order for your product. In this video, you will learn to describe how people use search engines to find answers, explain how ads help users answer their questions, list situations when advertisers should refine their targeting, explain how an advertiser's relationship with a searcher differs from an advertiser's relationship with a search engine, and express why search advertising functions as informational advertising.
So when we look at users overall, what we do not use search for is to browse the web. That's your social media or news readers are for. So what we really use search for is to learn the answer to a question. There's something you don't know and you want to know it. That's when you turn to a search engine. Now, people though, we just don't think in words. So we have to type words into a search engine. As users, we think in concepts. So there's a few steps that you unconsciously go through before you ever start searching. So the first thing is you have this concept of something you want to know. And then you've got to take that concept and translate it into actual words. Now, this leads to a lot of unique queries out there on the web. In fact, one of the most fascinating numbers you'll ever hear is that while Google processes 6 billion search queries a day, 20% of them have not been done ever before or in at least 6 months of time. So there's a lot of unique users we're trying to reach with search. So as a user, every time you do something, you have an expectation of results, something you expect to see. So when you put in a search query and you look at the results, if they're not what you expected to see, you're going to refine your search query before you ever click on something. We do some action, we have an expectation of what's going to happen afterwards. So you type in words in a search engine, you have an expectation of what that page is going to look like, what the ads, organic listings are going to be. Now, if you look at the page and say, that's what I was expecting to see, this looks like the concept and the answer that I'm looking to get more information about, then you're going to really start digging into the listings and look at the ads and see which one can probably answer your question. Now, that's the searcher. From the advertiser perspective, this is often your first brand interaction with someone. This is your chance to say, hey, look at us. Look at what our offer is. Come to our site. We can give you the answer, which as an advertiser takes that searcher and makes them a customer. So if someone looks at your ad and says, I think you can answer my question, they're going to click on your ad and go to your landing page. Now, this is industry jargon. Landing page is the first page of your site someone sees after clicking on an ad. Now, when this landing page tells a user, this is how you get the answer, or this is the answer itself, that's when you get customers. So for instance, if it's a buying guide, how to buy a new plasma TV, you'll just put the information on the page. But the query may be, I want to buy this specific TV, and therefore the actual action that occurs is the process of buying it, or they have to call you up on the phone to get the answer. This goes to your goals as an advertiser overall. But when you look at your landing page and ensure that the message you put on the page answers the user's question or tells them how to get the answer, that's when you get better conversions from your search efforts. And so it's important to note that search marketing is not interruptive marketing. If you're watching television, you're watching some show, and you're enjoying the show, and then a commercial comes on, and all of a sudden it interrupts what you're doing. And so you may fast forward through the commercial, you may flip channels. That's interruptive. With search, someone's actively looking for an answer. They're trying to find information. And so as a marketer, When you treat search as a channel of answering questions, and as you answer questions, you get customers for it, that's when search marketing is really powerful. Now, there's a lot of times, though, you don't want to answer the question, right? This gets to refining your audience. So, for instance, there's certain words someone may search for that doesn't really describe your product. Or you may have certain users you don't want to show ads to because you don't ship to that area or you don't service a specific area. You may see that your conversion rates are great on desktops, but not on mobile. You might exclude mobile users. Or maybe you only answer your business phone from 9 to 5. You don't want people clicking your ads at midnight. So there are times then that you can refine your targeting and decide not to answer questions because it's not a great time for you. And so when you think about it, your ad tells the searcher you can answer it, right? That's the goal. So this dictates then what you should put in your ad. It also lets you know what you should pay. So by looking at how often your ad is clicked, how often someone becomes a customer, using analytics, you can decide then how much you want to pay for those clicks. A nice cyclical process. So as you're doing search marketing and you're writing your ads with your analytics, you have to direct people to certain pages on your site. So you should always look at what page can answer the question. This isn't often the home page. If someone's searching for an e-commerce product, you want to use the product page. If they're searching for how to get the cheapest insurance in Chicago, you want to use the Chicago insurance page. And so look at the keywords, look at the ads. Pick a page that meets that expectation. That increases conversions. Now, if you don't have a page like this, you may need to create some pages to ensure you're always relevant to the user. And then once you have this data in place, you've got your keywords, you've got your ads, you've got your landing pages, you will get customers. So then paid search gives you so much data, you have to track conversions. When people become customers, when they're calling you, filling out your forms, contacting your business, buying a product, subscribing to your emails, whatever your goals are. And by then tracking those conversions, you can look back all the way to the beginning of the process. The keywords someone used, their search queries in an engine, and decide what words are useful, what ads are best for you, so that you look at the whole search process of how someone's searching and then bidding appropriately or deciding not to bid at all based upon these metrics. And so when you start advertising, you're going to realize a few things. You have your goals as a marketer, a searcher has their set of goals, and the search engine has their set of goals. And so thinking of this alignment is important between where you align goals versus just follow policies. So for instance, a search result starts because someone did a search, right? That initiates the entire search result page. Now you consider a search engine. Their goal is to make sure this person has such a good experience, they want to search again. Their goal isn't yours. Their goal is the best results possible, so it's a repeat searcher. Now, as a marketer, of course, your goal is conversions. You want to put a relevant offer in front of that searcher so they become a customer. Different goals. Now, the actual searcher, the person who started this process, they don't care what your goal is. They don't care the search engine's goal. They're saying, who's going to answer my question? And so when we think about this, you need to align your goals with the searcher. They're the ones at the end of the day convert and become your customer. But the engines dictate how this ecosystem works. So you have to play within the policies of the search engines, things we'll talk about throughout the video series, and make sure you're within their policies. But from a goal alignment standpoint, if you can make the searcher happy, they become customers. This fits in with why you're advertising in the first place, to increase revenues and get customers. Now we look at search and we look at overall activities online. The most common activity is usually email or some sort of social communication. Number 2 is usually search. Most of the others are either transactional or informational. So for instance, common activities are getting weather information, getting hobby information. This is information retrieval activities. Over the past 20 years, we've turned from looking at yellow pages and trade magazines to using search. And so by looking at where people are getting relevant content, You can decide how you want to use search then as your advertising vehicle, whether someone's looking for hobby information, and maybe it's gardening, the most common hobby in the US, and therefore you put out information about how to start a garden, and you can monetize even those information queries to a lot of transactional queries where someone is actively trying to buy a product. So by looking at how people are searching, what they're doing online, and then how you fit into that entire ecosystem, you can advertise to users through a lot of different activities they're doing online. Now, one of the most important concepts to keep in mind as you're advertising with search is that advertising is not advertising when it's information. So for instance, as people, we're really resistant to ads. We don't want someone to tell us what to do all the time. However, that's often interruptive-based advertising. With search, someone's looking for a product. So when you're giving them information, it's not ads. You're helping them. So let's just put this in a real-life example for a second. Let's say that I'm currently in San Francisco and that I'm a 49ers fan. And let's just say this weekend the 49ers are playing the Seahawks up in Seattle. And so we're thinking, it'd be a great weekend. Let's go hop in the car, drive up to Seattle and watch the game. We'll make a weekend out of it. So we get in the car on Saturday morning, we start driving, billboards pass us by, right? Everyone sees billboards all over the interstate. They're ads, who cares? We don't care about these ads right now. A couple hours pass, wow, we're kind of getting hungry. We didn't eat first. Where should we stop and get breakfast? Billboards aren't ads right now. We're looking for them to find out what our options are. They're currently information. Now, we stop, we eat, we get out of the car, whatnot. We get back and we keep driving to Seattle. And who cares? The billboards are ads. Now, when you think of search, someone's looking for that information. Therefore, search ads are not ads when you're helping someone make a decision. So don't think of search as gimmick advertising. Think of it as you're helping a customer, or potential customer, find what they're looking for. In return, they give you money for it. That's a great ecosystem of advertising because you're helping them make decisions. So with search advertising, think of it as informational-based advertising. You help them out, giving them what the information they need. They help you out becoming a customer. So to sort of recap how we search, we search to learn answers to questions. That's why we search in the first place. So an ad can help answer the question, tell a user they can get their information from you. Right? These are ads in essence, but they're really pieces of information. And now that ad, often the first brand experience with someone, leads to your landing page. The first page someone sees after clicking on ad going to your website, your first brand real experience on your site. When that landing page connects the user to what they searched for initially, contains information about the ads, that's when conversion rates go up. So search, it's non-interruptive. Someone's already looking for information. So when you help people get answers to their questions, that's when your conversions go up and paid search becomes an incredibly profitable channel for your business.